The thing I see happening in Palestine, and you can clear up any misconceptions on my part, is like, I've thought for decades that the Palestinians are sacrificial victims for any outside powers that want to delegitimize Israel. And then it doesn't matter how many Palestinians die because they're essentially expendable. And that seems to me particularly true in relationship to Iran. So it's completely in Iran's fundamental interest to foment this chaos that you described. It's not in the best interest of the Palestinians in anything like the medium to long run, but it doesn't matter as long as the trouble keeps occurring. It's hard on Israel. It's hard on the United States. It helps Iran maintain its iron grip. It seems to me obvious that many people in the Arab world are waking up to that, have woken up to that. I think that's why the Abraham Accords have more or less held through this, because there are powerful forces allied against Iran, most fundamentally, but it's in their best interest to keep the misery in Palestine going as long as it possibly can. And my suspicions are that what happened on October 7th was command directly, please, feel free to disagree with me, but this is how it looks to me, is that the Iranians decided that it was time to stir the pot, and they produced this massacre, and they hoped they'd provoke Israel into exactly the sort of reaction that Israel is having, and that Israel would take the threat extraordinarily seriously and move in. And as their military victory mounted, public opinion would turn against them and it would fragment the Abraham Accords. I suspect that was their plan. What do you think about that? Is that in accordance with your understanding of the situation?
Absolutely. This is Iran's attempt to actually rearrange the region.
Right.
But I don't want to go too far. That also China and Russia have ambition of reshaping the world.
Yes.
Changing the world order.
Yes.
But we don't want to go too far.
No, because God only knows how that's going to turn out.
But it's basically Iran, Russia, China. They made it very clear that they don't want the United States monopoly over power. They want to change the world order.
Yeah.
Putin understands. He understands completely what it really meant for Hamas to go and ethnically cleanse 20 Jewish communities. And it was not coincidental right after the Ukraine-Russian war, where all the attention was at Europe. And we saw after what happened in Gaza, nobody talked about Ukraine.
Right.
When you bring the three major religions and make them clash somehow. So Iran does not act on its own. When they launched, for example, hundreds of ballistic missiles in the 21st century, this is a major attack. I haven't witnessed this in our lifetime, maybe during the Iraqi war, but it was not on this scale. So anyway, yes, these people don't care for the global security. They are irresponsible. And worse than this, that we have experience with the communists, or let's say communist Islamic ideologies, that they reached a dead end. They failed. The communist Islamic model did not bear fruit. It did not emancipate humanity. It did not solve the human problem. And they still insist on replacing capitalism.
Yeah.
I don't think capitalism is the perfect solution, but it's the better option for sure. So anyway, they're insisting and they want this to keep going. And when we have a weak leadership, with due respect, the Biden administration is not showing leadership. And in the Muslim culture, the Arab culture, they don't understand tolerance. There is no such a thing. Not in the Muslim consciousness. Maybe forgiveness, but not tolerance. And tolerance is mostly perceived as weakness. And I speak as someone who grew up in that culture. So every time, when Trump was there, for example, everybody was terrified of him. Unpredictable. And you don't know what he's going to do next. So he moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. Nobody dared even to challenge.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Not even riots or any of that.
Right, yeah.
but now the Obama administration, then now the Biden administration, the Americans and the American power is not respected.
They've enabled Iran.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the things that appalled me when Biden took office is that I've been following the Abraham Accords quite closely because I thought they were, well, really quite the miracle.
Yeah.
And I knew from talking to people who were involved firsthand that the Saudis were very interested in having that process continue and very inclined to sign on. And my sense with the Biden administration was that that got scuttled because the Democrats were completely unwilling to give Trump any credit for anything he did during his administration. And I thought that was absolutely unforgivable because it would have been, and the Democrats could have pulled this off. They could have brought Saudi Arabia into the Abraham Accords, and they squandered the opportunity. And that's a complete catastrophe as far as I'm concerned, an unforgivable catastrophe. And, here we are now as a consequence of it, at least in part.